Halloween
forever.
Guys, what did the cell say when he smacked his foot off the table?
What?
I don't know, Brian.
Mitosis! Welcome, boys and girls, to a fucking episode of
Oh, man.
I'm Brian.
I am Meg.
I'm Champion. I'm Steve.
Guys.
Steve Champion.
Guys, we all got the Corvids.
It's our COVID episode.
This is our COVID episode.
I'm really sorry.
I'm officially changing last week's episode to Session 19. That's fucked up, Meg.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't live with us, I guess, I don't know, we had our Session 19 Minisode where we had our boy B2 over to
Junior.
my house. Yeah, he didn't get sick though, right?
He didn't get sick at all.
He didn't get sick, which was great. At least the guest didn't get sick. But Meg came in here and barfed Corvids all over us. So
unbeknownst,
me and Steve, yes, she
you know
no
what?
symptoms.
Sharing
She
is
didn't
caring,
know.
though, guys.
Yes, we're not blaming Meg necessarily. I'm not considering pressing charges. I'm just saying that she did come and barf Corvid in our mouths, and now me and Steve are sick, and Meg's on the tail end. So it's all been, I think, overall safe to say we've all had mild symptoms, mild to moderate. Nothing like it felt like like I'm definitely on the mend. But it felt at worst like a bad cold for me personally.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't want to act like it's not serious because, I mean, I, for one, am fully vaccinated. So that probably played a part in, it not being me being devastatingly sick.
Right.
Because one of my coworkers got it a couple weeks ago and he was like crazy sick. Mm-hmm. So people are still getting sick out there. But luckily, sounds like none of us we all had a pretty mild experience, which is good.
Yeah, as a great big fat pig, I am very happy that I got myself double vaxxed because I think that I'm at risk, but I've been vaxxed, so it was just a terrible summer cold where I can't stop sweating.
Yeah, I laid in bed and watched a lot of movies. I literally watched movies for like 4 days straight. Mm-hmm. I watched a tremendous amount of. I probably, honestly, in the last 4 days, watched like 20 movies.
Nice.
That's impressive. I have to say, I'm a really bad sick person where I'm like.
Yes, and does this have anything to do with this illness, or you're just a bad sick person?
I don't know.
I thought that was just a statement. I'm a bad sick person.
It was a comma with like between the bad and the sick. No,
Yeah.
I just like the moment I was like, okay, I don't have a fever. I cannot sit around anymore. I just like I knew I should just like relax, and overall I did. But then I also went and played disc golf by myself for 4 days in a row.
Oh, well, that's fun. I thought you were going to say you went to like Arby's and barfed COVID at everyone like you did.
No, I just like I couldn't sit still anymore. Like there's only so much Silicon Valley I could keep watching.
Mm-hmm. I watched so many movies I've watched 100 times. Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, do you guys think it was when we shared that loose bag of nuts where we all put our fucking dirty, grubby hands in the same bag of
I almost
food?
just spit out my drink when you said that. It was when we shared that loose bag of nuts. Yeah.
Keep
Or
it
just
a
when we were just like
loosey-goosey here.
screaming in each other's faces from very close proximity.
Yeah.
I just remember because I'm like that day I was like developing a cough and I like remember looking over at Steven and being like cough and then turn back and I'm like damn it, that's what happened.
Yeah, I remember one time at one point Meg held me down and just hocked a loogie in my mouth. So I think that's when it happened.
I do like inflicting pain on people, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was like I said, it sucked, but it wasn't. I've been way sicker than that. So I watched. Oh boy, I went on a like a spaghetti western run one day.
Shit, yeah.
Nice.
I watched like A Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I wasn't even watching like short movies. I was watching like big, like epic movies.
Oh yeah.
I watched Jaws for the 9 millionth time. I obviously watched Mayhem, which we're going to talk about today. I watched a couple stinkers, a couple giallo flicks. I've watched a bunch of crazy shit. Actually, there's definitely ones where like I know I watch way more than I don't even remember because I was just laying there in my weird sick haze. Just like there was a couple times where just whatever came up next, I was just like, all right.
I watched two that I think are of note, and like one we'll get to because I think Meg also saw, but one I saw was called Exiled, which was it's a Johnny Toe kind of like triad film.
Okay.
And it's just such a dudes rock fucking like gunfight film.
Yeah.
This movie's fucking awesome. You'll love it.
You texted about this one.
Yeah,
you texted a picture of it.
I think you'll love it. But if anybody wants to check that out. But the other one I saw was The Black Phone because that's on VOD.
And, you saw that one.
I thought I saw it on VOD for like $20 and I was like, no, I'll just go not.
Yeah, it was. So that was the thing is actually I couldn't remember because I was going to watch that and then I was going to watch The Northman.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that one.
And one of them was like $5.99 to rent. Which I was like, all right, it's like a new release. That's fine. But the other one was like, $19.99. I'm like, fuck that noise.
Yeah, I got out of my technically isolation period ended yesterday. So I snuck out and hid in the corner of the movies and saw The Black Phone as well. And I feel like I have a lot of thoughts and I'm still kind of processing it, but overall I enjoyed it and I thought it had a lot of layers to it, and I think the emotional connection between like the siblings is really what kind of keeps you drawn into the story, and it's like almost less about the kidnapping at times.
Yeah,
I don't know how you felt, Steve, but
did you? Well, yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot, and it's like if you like the film Prisoners from like 2013. I think you'll.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that. That doesn't sound familiar.
That's a really good film, but this one's not quite as dark as that, I think. Yeah. But Meg, did you catch a lot of the kind of parallels between the girl in this film and the girl in Psycho Goreman?
Yes,
okay.
It was
I
very
saw your tweet
reminiscent
about that, but I didn't get the reference.
Yeah,
you'd have to see both movies.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of like a few different things. Like I got, especially just freshly watching Stranger Things, you get kind of that by this like kid collective type thing. All the way the kids interact, and then even just the time period, as well as even the music. Like I liked the music a lot too. The soundscape to it was great.
Yeah. The girl is just very parallel to Psycho Goreman.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
she's
doesn't seem like that type of movie at all.
It doesn't seem like that, but there's just like little things like she's like cussing out cops at one point.
Yeah. She's like super badass. Yeah.
And she's like, she's getting into fights with boys, and then she's also she's constantly fighting with Jesus.
Same, bro.
Yeah, she's like, Jesus, come on, if you're there, help me find my brother.
Okay, it's like what's his name? Yeah, or what's her name? Mimi? Is that what it is? Yeah. Where she's like about that she just wanted to know what shade she wanted to wear, and she was like, "Fuck you, I was gonna wear these ones the whole time." Yeah. There's a new god in town, like
right. So yeah, there's just like but overall, I think The Black Phone's a good film. But if you like that film, do a double feature with Prisoners from 2013. That movie's amazing.
I'll see that where that is, because I wouldn't mind actually with it being fresh on my mind too.
Yeah, that sounds like Prisoners sounds like one of those ones that flew under the radar because it has a terrible name, kind of like Mayhem, which we're going to watch. We're going to talk about here in a second. But before we did that, two things one thing I watched last night, which I've seen 100 times, but it's honestly, every time I watch it, I love this movie more. And it is, in my mind, one of the greatest schlock horror movies of all time, is Humanoids from the Deep. AKA Monster. Humanoids from the Deep, it doesn't get a lot of attention because like it's raunchy, it's schlocky, like it's just but it's actually has like good practical effects and like pretty good performances and a great like monster, but also like a great villain too. And oh man, that movie fucking rules. And weird parts and sleazy parts, and like, oh fuck, I love that movie so much. But then the director, I guess, that's like the whole thing, because it is very sleazy and very like misogynistic. And then everyone's like, the excuse would be like, oh, but it's actually directed by a woman, which is true. Mm-hmm. But then you learn like the director pretty much like disavowed the movie, like she hates it.
Yeah.
But it's a Roger Corman produced flick, and she doesn't like the fact that when she like turned it in, I forget, her name's escaped me right now. Roger was like, yeah, I'm gonna need more sex and violence.
Did we talk about this like when we talked about from Monsters from the Deep? Because I feel like it got brought up, because all of this is like way. Like, I feel like deja vu right now.
Could be. I talk about this movie a lot. I just love this movie.
I just need to watch it now.
And then also, guys, next Sunday, a week from, we're recording this the day before it's getting released. Next Sunday is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. It's his last match, guys. Are you getting the pay-per-view?
No. I don't want to see that old man die and pay for it.
Like, I put that in quotation mark, his last match.
Well, they're doing, he'll probably be wrestling for 10 more years, but he is like 80 fucking years old. I don't know how old he is. He's definitely in his 70s, well into his 70s. But yeah, me and my buddy Brian are longtime Ric Flair fans. So we're doing it. We're getting, I don't even know the promotion. It's not, I keep want to say Starcade. It's not Starcade. It's like
Jim Crockett Promotions.
It is, but they call it something Cade or Star something.
It might be Starcade or Starcast.
I think it was Starcast or something. Okay. It was a promotion I wasn't really familiar with. It's in Nashville, which we almost debated whether we wanted to drive down to Nashville for it, because my brother lives there. But no, we're gonna get the pay-per-view. But yeah, it's I don't know anything about this promotion. I don't know anything about the storyline besides like a trailer video he sent me. But I know Jeff Jarrett. It's a tag team.
Yeah,
2 guys I don't know. One of them partnering up with the Nature Boy. One of them partnering up with LJ.
So the guy partnering with the Nature Boy is actually his son-in-law.
Oh,
he's this wrestler that was in WWE for a minute. But his name's Andrade.
Oh, okay. I didn't even I remember that name now, but I couldn't even make the connection that was him.
Yeah, so I guess Andrade met his daughter Charlotte Flair in WWE, and then they got married. Charlotte Flair. Yeah,
interesting. So
now, it's his son-in-law, and then the other guy partnering with Jeff Jarrett is Jay Lethal. He's just famous on the indies.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that name before, but
so it's not necessarily associated with like a WWE, like
no,
like no. That'd be interesting.
Because they're bringing in wrestlers from everywhere except WWE, really.
Interesting.
Yeah, although Jeff Jarrett, I think, technically works for WWE right now.
Well, I'm gonna be slamming some beers. I'm gonna be doing a lot of double J trots across the living room. Probably going to smash some guitars over people's heads as well, because I'm not only just a Nature Boy fan, also a big Jeff Jarrett fan too. I mean, he's one of the great fucking heels of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, this isn't wrestling hour, guys. We're talking about spooky movies. We have a couple things we got to talk about. I assume, or Meg's slamming beers. I was going to say,
I'm not actually slamming a beer.
What was that? This
is the hop tea.
Hop tea.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm like 7 days. I haven't had a beer since last Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, same. I am drinking actually a little ginger beer, a little Saranac 1888 ginger beer. I still don't have like really any sense of smell.
Oh, you lost? I did
completely.
Not.
Oh yeah, I forgot I didn't mention that. I completely lost my sense of smell. Even this morning, I was making the kids like bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. Couldn't smell bacon at all.
Oh, shame.
Cooking thick cut bacon, couldn't smell it. Like that's how gone my sense of smell is.
Oh no.
Yeah. So hopefully that comes back. As
a beer
sensory guy, that's a part of my career. But in the meantime, while we wait for that, I have definitely been eating healthier because I can't really tasting.
I haven't had a cigarette since Tuesday either, though. I was like,
Really?
I'm cutting it all out. I was like, going
Yeah.
cold turkey here.
I've definitely lost like 10 pounds, I think, too, because I just haven't been eating anything or drinking beer. In any case, that's not what we're talking about. This isn't the Corvus Hour. This is, we've got our Showdown episode coming up here. And so we're going to announce what topics, I'm sorry, not what topics, what movies we're going to pick for our topic. And if you recall, we announced on last week's episode that the topic that was chosen by you, our lovely listeners and social media friends, was non-traditional vampire flicks. So for those of you who are not familiar with how that comes about, every month we do a Showdown episode. We each pick a movie. That movie comes from a series of topics that you suggest. We choose at random, then you vote on them if you want to help us pick those topics in the future. Or just like last week, we actually did a listener suggestion as well. If you want to make listener suggestions for minisodes and stuff like that, go on old social medias and search Halloween is Forever. It's a little dang digital pumpkin guy. You'll find it. My brain is not equipped right now to remember all of the handles for the social medias, but search us. It's fine, guys. You'll figure it the fuck out. So, are we ready to announce our non-traditional vampire flicks for the August Showdown?
Yes.
I think so.
Steve, you are the champ with all the rights and privileges of the championship come with you, so you can choose, the order in which we announce.
I'm trying to think, what would Meg hate the most? I feel like Meg should get a punishment for trying to kill us.
You guys have done this to me, I feel like, every month. You're always looking for a way to torture me.
You are almost always trying to murder us.
Yeah.
I can't talk about those type of things on air, but
I'm gonna say, Brian, you have to go first.
I have to go first. Oh, I like that, because then I get my first pick. And
I'll only be mad if he picks one of mine.
So I actually have two that I'm really close with. One, it's definitely the one I want to pick. It's probably the one I would pick, but there's another one that I know is really gonna get in Meg's craw.
Jesus.
So
Craw.
What do I want to? You know what? I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna go with my instinct here. I'm gonna pick my one of my favorite flicks with one of my favorite actors, featuring a couple of my favorite actors in it. I'm gonna go with 1987's American neo-Western horror flick Near Dark, starring just a fantastic ensemble cast, but among them, one of my favorites, Mr. Bill Paxton and Lance Hendrickson. Love both of those gentlemen. This is
I really want to know which movie would get under my skin here.
I was going to pick Let the Right One In and steal your Swedish.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's a great movie. I really, really like that movie. But I did not. No, wait. Which one is the original?
Let the Right One In is the original, and Let Me In. Let Me In is the American remake.
Okay, yeah. Let the Right One In. I don't think I ever saw the American remake.
Neither did I.
I don't think I ever watched it. The original's fantastic. Oh, yeah. Awesome movie. But I just have such a soft spot for.
Was that
for
your second choice too? Or?
Yeah, that was going to be my second choice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that one was on my second choice as well.
Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm wondering if I take it now.
It's a good one.
It's not. Hey, I'm going to say I haven't seen it, so you can take it. I wasn't on my list. So I can come out with mine.
Tough spot.
You know what? I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do it,
and then
Swedish,
and then I'll make my promise right now.
Yeah.
That if I win, that we'll do fun again. No bad punishment movies, because my first choice was going to be Life Force.
Oh, fuck. I love Life Force. I totally forgot about Life Force. I oftentimes completely forget it's a vampire movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a goddamn weird space vampire with big boobs. Man, that's a great movie. I love Life Force.
Life Force fucking rules.
It's such a great movie. It's also another one that terrible name.
Yeah, right.
Call it.
I feel like I'm super tempted just to take it right now and say
sexy space vampires. Say something like, you know what I mean? Life Force rules. I forgot about that movie. Damn.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, I wouldn't have picked it over Near Dark but Life Force rules.
There's some things in it that just kind of fall apart here and there.
And it would be also be like, it's definitely. Anyway, we won't get into it. It's a moot point, but it's vampire. I mean, it's a vampire, but it's almost vampire adjacent in a way.
Well, they call them vampires in the film anyway.
I know but
and it's based off a novel called The Space Vampires. So
really,
it's hard,
okay.
It's hard to
space vampires. Damn, if they wanted to call it fucking space vampires, call it space vampires. I mean, it's a classic. Anyway, all right, Meg.
All right, I was going back and forth. I don't think I'm going to go with this one, but I really liked it after watching it's like a newer one called Bliss, but I just loved how chaotic and kind of intense it was, but I don't think I'm actually going to go with it. I think I'm going to go with a Hometown Hero film. Oh. George Romero's 1977 Martin. I'm going to go with that one. It's interesting. I just thought I found it to be pretty interesting, and I want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a good flick, classic flick. Love me some Romero.
Long flick.
Yeah, Blit. What's that?
Long flick.
Long one. It's a long boy. I kind of forgot about Bliss. I watched it when it got, because it was a Shudder exclusive, I think, right off the bat, and I watched it, and it's like incredibly gory, like. But I do think if I remember it, like pretty much falls apart in like the third act.
Is that the one with the painting?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of what like turned me off, because I feel like there probably could still be a good argument for it being a really great vampire movie. Because I really do think, I don't know, in looking at all these vampire films, they have like very similar themes throughout all of them. They're either going for like sex, drugs, or some sort of addiction thing, and you know what I mean. And so I was like, kind of had it all, but yeah, I definitely can agree. I think it kind of felt like that last scene. I'm just like, meh.
Painting fucking rules, though. I'd hang that in my house.
Definitely.
I couldn't go away from I couldn't get away from the Western vampires. I love a damn desert Western vampire. I love it. I couldn't get away from it. Although I like snow vampires too. I like 30 Days of Night. I like that movie actually a lot. It used to play on what? Was it AMC or something like that? I used to play that movie like fucking every week. And then of course Let Throw It In.
Yeah. Did you guys watch The Addiction ever? Prepping for it, I watched it. It has like Lily Thompson and like Christopher Walken in it, but it's another one of those like, okay, vampires being compared to like having addictions and stuff like that. I thought it was interesting, and I'm glad I watched it, but I was like, it was a little weak in that, and I was like, I feel like when it gets too like thematic or like too on the nose, I was like, I don't know if I could go with it and have a strong argument.
All right. Well, we've got our picks, guys. Go out and watch them. Again, back to back to back is really the only way to do it. Otherwise, you're a coward. Get real fucked up and just triple feature it. Get ready for the Showdown episode, which is coming up. That's next week, ain't it?
Yeah.
God damn, this summer's going fast, which means shit, guys. Spooky season is upon us very, very soon. So I have already started buying decorations. I'm already planning costumes. Yeah. I mean, just get your shit together. Get your fucking ducks in a row, guys. It's going to be August soon. Let's get to the movie at hand. We were originally going to do Nope. And we were all going to go see it at the theaters when it released. But again, Meg barfed corvids in our mouth, so we couldn't do it. So we ended up doing another one of our favorite traditions, which is Tubi Roulette. So we went to our sacred text, which is Tubi. If you are not familiar with Tubi, just if you care at all for your soul, download it. Familiarize yourself with it. I'm thinking about starting like a Bible quizzing type of thing, but it's just Tubi related, only about movies on Tubi. We ended up with a damn gem. Frankly, I'm going to say it's the greatest movie in the world, but like you can as we said in the past,
you can do worse.
You can do worse. Tubi giveth and Tubi taketh away, and you can be smited pretty damn quick playing with fire here. But we ended up with a pretty nice quality flick here, one called Mayhem from 2017. Had you guys seen this before?
Yeah.
Before this?
Yeah, I didn't realize until I started watching it that I had, but I have.
Yeah. This was on. Many of you may have probably saw it for the first time. Well, maybe not probably, but many of you likely saw it on The Last Drive-In, because Joe Bob Briggs did it on, I think, season 3 of The Last Drive-In. And that was the first time I saw it, and remember being, having a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's directed by Joe Lynch. And I've listened to his podcast before, but I didn't know a lot about his directing background. But he directed one of the Wrong Turn movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the first one, but one of the sequels.
No, one of the sequels.
Yeah. And a couple of other things as well. There was one other pretty decent genre credit he has as well. I forget.
He's on it's like the Chillerama or whatever.
Oh yes, Chillerama. It is a
anthology.
Really cool, low budget, incredibly stupid, but in a really fun way, anthology that I stumbled on Tubi years ago, and it has a wraparound about being at a drive-in, which of course I'm gonna be a fucking total mark for.
Mm-hmm.
And it has some really fun actors in it. If I recall, the guy who runs the drive-in is the guy from Office Space, who I don't remember his name, but he's the one that he's like, when they're like, what would you say you do? And he's like, I'm a people person, and he's the guy who tries to kill, he tries to kill himself and then ends up, doing the jump to conclusions mat and getting anyway, that guy is in it as like the drive-in owner and operator and stuff, and it's actually a really fun flick. I'm trying to remember, one of the vignettes is about like Frankenstein being built by Nazis or something, or a Nazi Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's called The Diary of Anne Frankenstein.
That's it. It's super, super stupid and completely over the top, but it has some recognizable people in it, and it's really funny, and just like, it's one of those movies you're watching and you're like, how the fuck did they get this made with like fairly notable people in it? Like, you'll recognize faces. It's absolutely worth a watch.
Hatchet?
No, Chillerama.
Chillerama. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
he did the Wrong Turn 2 as well, which is probably much more well known. But in any case, this movie has a pretty interesting. This movie being Mayhem, we kind of alluded at, like, a lot of folks, when I hear people talk about it, one of the first things they say is like, this movie didn't really get a lot of notoriety because it has a terrible name, like Mayhem.
It's
tells
a little
you
generic.
nothing about
Yeah.
it. It's very generic. Like I said, it's only from a few years ago. It was written by an Argentinian guy, Mateus Caruso, but it was shot in Serbia. And he was actually planning on shooting this in Pittsburgh initially, but it was too expensive. I guess he couldn't get enough days out of the crew for the budget they were working with. So they ended up, they could get twice as many days in Serbia, and somebody who he worked with in the past on this movie, this, production company in Serbia, or this, I don't know, whatever connections in Serbia. And they ended up doing it there. But most of you will recognize, if you've seen it, you'll remember it from starring Steven Yeun, who is his last name pronounced, is it Yeun?
I would go with that. Yeah,
I think it's
Yeun or Yoon.
Yeah,
I think
Yeun.
it's more Yeun.
Yeah, he is. You'll recognize him right away, any genre fans, as Glenn, which was the best character from The Walking Dead, in my opinion, and pretty much the show ended when he was gone. He was the only one you gave a shit about, really, the entire show for the most part. And I was a diehard fan of that show. I watched the premiere, the first episode, like Halloween night when it came out, like 2010 or something like that. I forget. And they're still fucking doing it, and they'll probably do it again for 10 more years. But the show is not nearly as good as it used to be. But he was Glenn, who was the pizza boy, who, you know, ultimately became like a huge, you know, kind of leader within the group and all this stuff. And then Samara Weaving is in as well. So they're kind of the two leads. And but there's a lot of good supporting performances in this movie as well.
Yeah, there's good supporting performances, but I don't really recognize any of them. There's only one character in this that I recognize from a different film.
Yeah,
and that was the head of security guy. Mm-hmm. He was in a film called The Trip.
Okay,
which is it was by the guy who did Dead Snow. Okay, so he plays a rather comedic role in that, but other than that, everybody else is kind of like a blank face to me.
Well, really? The guy who played the HR guy, he was super familiar to me, and I had to look up a little bit of where I've seen him from, and he was also on The Walking Dead, but I feel like I've seen him in other stuff. He definitely had a familiar face for me.
Yeah, I recognize him from The Walking Dead because I remember even when he was on there, we used to call him, he was, we didn't call him that, but he is Wish.com John Ritter. Like he looks like him. He kind of acts like him. But the other person I recognized was the woman who played I don't remember the name, but they called her the Siren. She was like the kind of main antagonist for the most part, one of the supporting antagonists. I've seen her pop up on I think like TV episodes and stuff like that before, but most of the people in the background, they said, pretty much everyone was Serbian for the most part in the background. Anyway, Yeun plays Derek. So he works at this kind of law firm. They do this whole, setup that he works at this kind of soulless, terrible, giant multinational law firm type of thing. And, started out as just like a, entry level, I don't know, law clerk or lawyer or whatever. And then he's kind of made his way up to like middle management, I guess. And, he's been just, he's kind of the rat race, controls his life 100%. He has no time for family, friends, anything. He wants to pursue like art, apparently, which they kind of allude to a little bit at the beginning. And he just doesn't have any time for anything. He's just totally engulfed in career progression and dealing with all this like insane comedic level of like office politics that's happening. Mm-hmm. And he knows the whole thing is kind of shit. But he's kind of pretending that like he's immune to it a little bit, but he's coming to the conclusion that he's definitely not, and that he's unhappy in what he's doing. So then Melanie, who's played by Samara Weaving, she comes in and she's acting as a lawyer. And her house is getting foreclosed on. They come to a conclusion pretty quickly. She's not actually a lawyer. She's there to try to get to the, bottom of like this scenario that happened with her house that's being foreclosed on. And you're getting introduced to all these characters, these bad guys around the office. And they all have like, there's the HR guy, which they call the Reaper. There's like the super backstabby, like a more upper management person. They call her the Siren, because she's always like, whispering in people's ears and stuff like that. So you have all this stuff going on.
Did you guys get like some like mild Zombieland vibes from like the way they like were introducing all of this stuff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said it was like Zombieland meets Running Man. Because they all have these little like it's like it's like corporate mini bosses that are set up almost like
levels in a video game.
Streets
almost.
Of Rage. Yeah, I was going to say it's like Streets of Rage or I mean, The Running Man is literally just a fucking video game in movie form. Yeah. So except for instead of Jim Brown, it's Wish.com John Ritter.
It is Sub-Zero. Now just Zero.
Oh, I love that one. Anyway, but it is set up. It's this very surrealist type of thing, but you can tell like they sat down and were like, let's make The Running Man, but in a corporate environment. Mm-hmm. And then of course, there's this like super crazy CEO. His name's John something or other. Anyway, there is this virus, a not It's not a zombie virus because it doesn't kill you. In fact, it's not lethal, the virus itself. But they go through this kind of flimsy explanation that it basically like suppresses the id or something like that in your personality. So basically you have like zero impulse control. Mm-hmm. You just act on instinct. Emotions are turned up to 11. It's that's basically what happens. So it just makes you want to like fight and fuck and freak out, basically. Mm-hmm. The 3 Fs: fight, fuck, freak out. And so these outbreaks are happening all over the world, and one of them happens within this giant headquarters building for this law firm. So long story short, it's basically the setup. Derek gets fired that day because he's set up by the siren to take the fall for some mistake with this big giant client that he wasn't responsible for. Technically she was, but she sets him up to be the fall man for this, and he gets fired as a result of it. As he's being like basically kicked out of the building, SWAT team comes, hazmat, government people show up, and they shut the whole building down, right? And they quarantine him, and they say basically, we're putting this like but like it's going to wear off in 8 hours or whatever. Or did they put something in the vents that is going to make it wear off after 8 hours or something?
Or get it out of the air, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty flimsy. The whole thing's pretty flimsy, but it's just a setup to go, here's why it makes sense that nobody can leave this building and anyone, can come in, and this is going to turn into Lord of the Flies in this building, basically.
Right.
So...
You have 8 hours of Battle Royale.
Pretty much. And this is a very important part, is they specify, they've also explained now that a person who worked at this firm, who was one of the first people, or not first, but he was infected with the virus and murdered one of his coworkers, ended up getting off, completely walking and getting off the murder charges because of the virus defense.
Right. And it was Derek who found that loophole to create this defense that makes it legal for people to murder when they're under, infected.
So you're basically not responsible for your actions at all while you're infected. So there's a whole bunch of people.
This is how we use bioweapons to make the purge happen.
That's
okay, Meg, let's not plan the end of society.
Yeah. This is how we do it, guys. We're not in a brainstorming session.
I mean, we all got
Meg,
COVID,
you're already in the red column of bioterrorism on this show. Yeah. Let's not.
Yeah. You are on thin ice, lady.
There was just something that felt very connected to the whole thing, guys. Like, it's probably lucky we're not together. Let me just say that.
Meg's wearing sunglasses too, which means when she takes one of them off, her eye's going to be red.
Can't take off just one glass.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I didn't mention either is the virus. One of the telltale signs for somebody who's been infected is their eye turns red. Usually it's just one, weirdly enough. Yeah. One eye turns all like red and bloodshot and itchy. So it is, that is the tell. Of why, how you can figure out somebody who's been infected. But they get locked in the building. You can tell that Derek is kind of a good guy because he kind of saves like this administrative assistant who's getting like berated by this big douchebag. He kind of saves her from that. This is before shit goes wild. So like he's trying to not be a total piece of shit, but he's very much getting sucked up into this piece of shit culture. So when stuff really hits the fan, he ends up basically saying, okay, I'm going up to talk to the top brass. They call them the 9. They're like the board of directors and CEO. I'm going to go talk to these fuckers. And he quickly just gets like sent down to the basement, and these goons that work for the CEO just like beat the shit out of him. His one friend, who plays a pretty inconsequential role in the movie, gets killed in this scene too. So Derek's like, fuck yeah, I'm going balls to the wall. I'm getting to the top floor and I'm going to kill the CEO, or I'm going to face him. I'm going to do whatever. He ends up getting thrown in a room with Melanie, who was getting kicked out of the building when this all happened as well. So now all of a sudden he and Melanie, who had it out earlier, they have a fight scene. She beats the shit out of him.
Fuck yeah, she does.
I love this scene because they just start spitting in each other's faces.
Oh yeah, it starts with spitting in each other's faces.
That's actually what happened last Sunday.
That's pretty much how this happened. And she's a great character. She's super, like, she's like this badass, but then she's also kind of the comedic relief too.
Yeah,
because she just is like a fucking wild card and just says wild shit and like laughs when people get killed and stuff.
For a couple of seconds before I realized who it actually was, I thought it was like Margot Robbie, and I was just like, oh shit, this is basically her Harley Quinn in like a normal form.
Yeah, she does look a lot like her. They have very similar facial features.
Well, yeah, and also, so it was basically her character in this, like, it is basically this, like, really kooky, crazy, like, metalhead chick who's just, like, singing and screaming and just being like, oh my god, chaos is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, so, like, that original Suicide Squad movie came out a year before this, I think. So, like, do you think, like, she auditioned to be Harley Quinn, didn't get it, and then just did Harley Quinn on this film instead?
It's not that on the nose.
It's not that on the nose, but there's some real...
She doesn't do, like, the, like, accent and shit like that.
No, she doesn't do the accent, but there's just some real Harley Quinn moments where, like...
Hints.
Like, the one scene where, like, she's in the office and the siren is yelling at her assistant. And she's like, Meg, go get me some coffee. And she's like, yeah Meg, coffee.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is just like she's so like mocking.
She's a shit pot stirrer.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of good lines in this. I mean, the whole thing is played very, very tongue in cheek. Like the violence, it's like very implied that there's a lot of brutality, and there are some brutal scenes, but you actually see like a lot happens off screen, which is kind of a bummer. But also, there's a lot of just little lines in the background that you catch. Like when they're really demonstrating that shit's hitting the fan, that like everyone in the office, there's like a big like open office floor plan thing with all these like cubicles, and people are just going wild, beating the shit out of each other, killing each other, like screaming, fucking each other, all kind of stuff. The one goes, there's this woman, she's like, she's on the phone with somebody. She goes, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to fucking kill you. And then she's like, all right, bye, mom.
Yeah,
there's one of the ones I noticed that just made me laugh is there's just a guy in the background who has like all these donuts lined up on top of a cubicle. And like his impulse is to just take a bite out of a donut and put it down and then take a bite out of the next donut. Like, that's his background action. Like, and literally in the same scene there's people fucking.
Yeah.
So it's like,
are you talking about the couple that's like over the desk fucking?
Yeah.
They were actually fucking.
According to IMDb.
Yeah. And the director said that was a couple. They were extras, but they were a couple in real life, and they were just like, fuck it, and they actually started boning on camera.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Fuck it, we're in Serbia.
I was gonna say Serbian extras, like what the fuck? They don't give a shit. They'll do whatever.
Steven Yeun had to smell Badusi trying to do his lines.
Well, they were saying, Joe Bob was even saying that like the director and the director's commentary even says that like it smelled like sex in there. Because these two were just fucking going at it. So she learns that, Melanie learns that basically this can all go away if one of the nine, this one, Smythe is her last name. What was it again? It was, fuck. She's like the queen bitch kind of, like she's like just, and I don't remember the name of the actor, but she like she plays that character that you're like, God, I want this character to die so bad, you know, because she's just like mean as fuck and just like doesn't give a shit about anybody. And she's dressed kind of like the Trunchbull from Matilda too, a little bit. But she says, well, you need to get her signature, and she is, you know, with the nine up top, and basically like, if you help me get up there to you know, talk to the nine, like I'll deliver you to Smythe or whatever her name is. So they kind of team up, you know, from that point forward. And the first thing that they do is Derek like MacGyvers together a phone in the basement so he can call Vandercorp, which was the client that got fucked with this mistake that he got fired for, and basically outs them for what happened because they were going to try to, keep it secret. And then he also explains that basically there was another lawsuit that they could have won, and he was pressured into saying they couldn't. And so they lost out on a bunch of money or whatever. So basically, this law firm's biggest client basically tells them to fuck off because Derek outs them to them. So now this creates all this animosity between the CEO and the Nine and Derek, and he puts out like a bounty on his head.
Yeah. Did you feel like these two kind of plot points of the whole thing, the whole situation of how Derek gets fired and this plot point of calling up Vandercourt, and I couldn't get into that because I'm not in that world, and so the stakes just don't feel. It's vague and corporate-y enough that I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I think it works only because how does he then get under his skin to try to get him to make a mistake? Because I think Derek shows throughout the whole movie that he is just a lot smarter than these people upstairs. So he knows that going there, I don't know. It kind of made sense to me in that. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense why they did it because they wanted the Nine to want him dead instead of just want him out of the building. But yes, it was a little flimsy. Essentially what they said was he got fired and why they made him write something that said, I don't think you should sue this former business partner because you probably will lose the case. But in reality, they just missed the filing deadline. So the company, it's just this corporate bullshit. Somebody dropped the ball and they needed to scapegoat somebody. And it fucked up But the weird thing is, if they were going to hide it from Vanguard in the first place, why did they need to fire anybody?
I don't know.
Right.
That's the thing. That's why it's just so I don't know. It's so flimsy.
It's flimsy.
It just can't get into it, and it's hard for me to justify because I don't know. If he released something that people could connect to on a personal level of the CEO in an affair, or the CEO I don't know, meeting with Saddam Hussein, just whatever, something that everybody can connect with.
Why didn't they just make it that this company somehow was involved with another company who was responsible for making the virus or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he was that info out. I know it's a law firm. It doesn't make sense, but it would have been better than this. Yeah. I remember the first time watching this, I was like, this is like Scott Pilgrim or something. This is just we'll say some stuff to make it make sense why this outlandish scenario is happening. This is a movie based on one outlandish scenario, and this is all set dressing to just get there.
Yeah.
Which it is what it is.
Did you also just think that Derek's a Mary Sue?
How so?
Well, so you already mentioned how he just kind of he knows all the ins and outs of the law.
Yeah.
And so he's able to he's able to take down that douchebag at the beginning as well, because he's oh, I got this on my phone ready for you. You're going to harass this woman? Haha, I think not. And then he can take down everybody with his mind. But then when it turns into violence, he can also take down everybody with violence. At no point does he have a weak spot.
No, I mean he is a pretty one-dimensional character. He's just he's Superman a little bit. Well, I think what they did, they tried to set him up early as I'm kind of this ineffectual kind of guy, but then the character of him as when he gets promoted to the corner office or whatever, is he's already got this all this machismo going now,
right?
If they would have made it a little bit of an underdog story, but he's not ever really an underdog.
No.
I feel like it almost, I mean, especially the way it ended in him making a decision is that he probably would have lived this very bullshit corporate life doing whatever he would have, like, because he was good at it, because he could. And then, whatever, this virus basically giving him the realization that he's like, I don't fucking need any of this stuff. I'm out, and making that decision to leave. Like, he may have never left. I think that's a pretty common scenario in a job this, So.
Yeah. And on top of it all, he can paint. He's a fucking Mary Sue.
Yeah, asshole.
That was actually a paint by numbers class, if you'd missed that.
Oh, okay. I didn't. My bad.
I'm joking.
They did the first mini boss is the HR guy, and the HR guy they call the Reaper. He has this like cane. He comes in earlier and fires to fire Derek, and it's like when he comes to your office, like, you're fucked, whatever.
What's so great about that character is just like he is the epitome of what people think about HR people. Like, you just hate him immediately, and they did such a good job.
People, and I have a few friends and a cousin who's an HR professional. HR people are generally the scum of the fucking earth.
Right.
I'm just gonna say it right
That's
now.
What I'm saying. Like they
will act like they're your
played.
friends, but they are there to protect one thing, which is the best interest of the company they work for. They are basically the in-house, person to just, I don't want to say they're not necessarily a lawyer, but like they are the in-house person that are just there to make sure, at all costs, the company is protected. So I've met a couple of good HR people, but almost all the worst people I've ever met in my professional life are HR people too. Anyway, so he's definitely that, but he's not scary or intimidating at all. Like, he's kind of like, basically just says like, oh, it's my job. This is what we're going to do. Like, he's almost this guy who's like just holding the power over his head type of, I
untouchable
don't know.
is what I felt like. He's like, no matter what, you can't do anything to me. So go fuck yourself.
But when they do have it out, he goes back. It's very much this role reversal situation where now Derek is saying some of the things he said to him when he was firing them, but now he's talking about basically how he's going to kill him.
Which funny enough is actually like they make a mistake in the editing doing this.
Oh, really?
And they use a bad take. So when the Reaper comes to fire Derek the first time, he says, "Mind if I come in?" And Derek replies, "What if I said no?" Which isn't right. You would say, "What if I said yes?" Because you would mind.
Yes.
But when Derek shows up later, he probably uses the correct line, which is now a good time? Or is it okay if I come in?
Oh, okay.
So they used the wrong take for the Reaper.
Yeah.
In the earlier of the film, so it doesn't line up perfectly. There's like a lot of editing mistakes in this film too, and I'll talk about it.
Movie. It's a weird movie because it's really a fun movie.
Yeah,
and there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of potential. But like, okay, here's a great example: the HR guy. They have this fight. They have this scene where they look like they have him dead to rights, but then he stabs Derek's hand to the table with scissors, and then attacks Melanie, and then they have this struggle on the ground with Melanie, and then Melanie takes a little it was like a circular saw or something, I forget, and just basically like guts him with it. You don't see it. Like, you don't see, there's so many off-screen kills and spots where you're like, okay, you're trying to make this movie this like ultra violent type of thing, and it's just not. Like, there's so much stuff that happens off screen.
Yeah. I wonder if they're trying to preserve kind of like the lightheartedness of it.
Maybe.
Because like, have either of you seen the Belko Experiment?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
That one gets really gritty at points.
They talked about it on the episode of Last Drive-In, but I have not seen it.
I'm sure because they both kind of came out at the same time, and like the Belko Experiment, I think was it was at least written by James Gunn's brothers and maybe directed as well, and then I think one of James Gunn's brothers is in it as well. So
Yeah, I remember liking it. I need to go back and rewatch it because I remember in our text thread you kind of mentioned that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember liking it and it being like insane, and then but it has that same vibe completely of like shutting down a building and basically zombies going loose type.
Yeah. It's also on Tubi.
It's also, I mean, let's remember all this is stolen from Gremlins 2 as well.
Right.
Great line here from Melanie. They're trying to get into the door where the HR guy is before, obviously he gets killed. When they're first trying to get in, she just screams, "You open doors like my grandmother fucks." Just screams it at him. It's a good line. So, the office, like I said, is complete chaos by this point. Everyone's fighting, freaking out, whatever. They have a nail gun, which we've established at this point now. You thought that they were going to nail gun the HR guy, but again, ultimately Melanie kills him with this other with a little circular saw. Oh, one other thing I heard in the background at this point too, and I think this actually might have been right before they went in to see the HR guy. You heard somebody in the background going, "Fuck you, you're cool, fuck you." I'm out, like just the line from Half Baked. We talked about the extras actually having sex in the background. After they kill the HR guy, then the whole idea was they wanted, like, this is how much of a video game it is. You literally have to have key cards to go to different levels. It's Metal Gear Solid. Like, it's literally, you just need different key cards to go to different levels. You have to kill a boss, take his key card, go to a different thing. So they get the key card off of him. Then they go to the siren and they are waiting on her, and she's kind of held up in her office. Like I said, at this point, like, there's a bounty out on Derek's head. Eventually they get in and the showdown first, but before the actual like siren thing is, it's all the sirens like lackeys basically. And they've become like fully tribal. Like, they have like bandanas and like almost like if you were to create like a Mad Max type situation in an office, this is what has occurred. So you have the showdown between them and Derek and Melanie.
This is another funny editing mistake too. Yeah. Is like he's giving that big speech to the group.
Yeah.
And telling them,
because he's on the phone, speakerphone with like a psychiatric, like, or like a hostage negotiator, but it's like a psychiatrist. I don't know.
But yeah, during that speech, they're gearing up, they're ready to go, and like Melanie puts her sunglasses down. And then she puts them down again.
Oh no!
Yeah,
no.
Like they do. She does it in a wide shot, and then like he's not even halfway through his speech, but then they do a close up of her slamming him down for go time, and it's like, come on, you didn't see that?
This whole scene is really, really corny with like the legal speech and stuff. It's meant to be very tongue in cheek, but it could have come across really lame. But he actually pulls it off pretty well. Yeah. Because he has such intensity. And like I said, if you know Glenn from The Walking Dead, you're like already kind of rooting for him, I guess. But like I don't dislike this movie. Like I said, there's a lot of issues. I happily watched it again. I'll probably watch it. Probably won't be the last time I watch it. But if it wasn't for Derek, I mean, he makes the whole movie pretty much.
I think also just like him and Melanie together. Like, I don't even know if it would actually be as interesting if they didn't like team up throughout the whole thing.
I mean, they're the best parts of the movie for sure. They don't give her a lot to do though.
Yeah.
Just be badass and funny.
Yeah, I mean, she is relegated to like this sidekick role. Yeah. And then when she's supposed to have her big like comeuppance, or not comeuppance, but her big revenge against the Smythe lady, it's Derek's the hero again, which we'll get to, and then you don't even see it. It happens off screen. It's like, really, that was the worst part of the movie in my opinion, but we're about to get to it. And then also here's another one. They keep showing the siren is like super mad, or I'm sorry, super mean, I mean, to her assistant or her if it's her secretary or whatever, which her name is coincidentally Meg. And when she comes in, she's always like, make some more fucking coffee, Meg, and like being a total asshole to her. And then they're like, they do this deal to basically get her security clearance because she's got the highest security clearance. So they'll let her go right to the top. But they're like, Meg, go get, because she gives it to Meg to go hide it.
Mm-hmm.
So when Meg comes back, Meg has microwaved the card as a fuck you. And she has double-crossed her to the 9. And they gave her a job or whatever. Well, then Meg ends up killing the siren, but they do it off screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How are you going to have her die off screen?
Yeah, you want to see that epic death.
Oh, that was when it kind of lost me a little bit.
Yeah.
But so things really kind of play out as you would expect. Derek and Melanie fall in love, have a pretty hot fucking scene. I'm not going to lie. But fully clothed.
Yeah.
Come on.
All this costs money, Brian.
Yeah, that really. I don't know exactly how famous Samara Weaving was at this point, but still too famous to for the budget of this film.
I guess so.
You can't say I can't afford to film in Pittsburgh, but I can't afford to get Samara Weaving's top off.
I know.
It's not in there.
Have it from behind and have it be a double.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even care. I'm not even like, I want to see Samara Weaving's boobs. Like, that's not even what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, don't do fully clothed fucking. That's completely at odds with the whole thing. They're supposed to have no inhibitions and be going wild.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to go.
It should have been in blood.
Wild.
It should have been in blood.
They've gone wild. No, it's like never mind. That was a really obscure reference. Anyway,
look, I think the reason why their clothes stayed on is just because they're there to quickly burst nerds. They're not trying to.
But no, they weren't though. They laid there and had freaking pillow talk afterwards.
They did.
Yeah, they definitely did make it seem like it wasn't just a quickie.
Yeah. That reference, by the way, which I don't know if you guys picked up on, was an Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference. Remember when they turned the bar? They turned the bar into Anything Goes at Patty's, and then there's all the girls come up, and it's like, you girls want to go wild, and they'll show Dennis their boobs, and he'll throw beads at him and go, "You've done it! You've gone wild!"
That's really great.
Anyway, that's from like season 1, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, that just bummed me out. Anyway, so like I said, they fall in love, they're going to be together forever now all of a sudden. But then there is this situation where they're trying to get to, so they go to the Smythe lady or whatever thing. And basically, she kind of like seemingly outsmarts them, saying that like, yeah, I could sign this and you could force me to sign this, but it's going to, I'm just going to plead temporary insanity as soon as this is over and fuck you. But then I'm like, why don't you have her sign it and then kill her?
Yeah.
Duh.
The fuck? I'm not a criminal mastermind to figure that out. But anyway, but then so they basically say, no, you got to go the whole way up to do this. Okay, fine. So she says, Derek, she propositions Derek to basically, stab Melanie in the back. Seemingly, Derek takes that bait, smacks Melanie in the head. She wakes up, she's tied to a chair. She feels very betrayed, whatever. Then they like kiss, and you can tell he passed something to her in his mouth. And I'm like, what's it going to be? The keys? No, he had taken apart the chair and passed in his mouth to her a screw, which apparently was to communicate that the chair had been taken apart.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I think you did miss a pretty funny scene, though, with the IT guy. Which I saw was actually
the director,
because he cracked me up, and especially finding out this woman we're talking about has a foot fetish.
Oh yes, I did miss that. I didn't go over that part. Yeah, the Smythe lady or whatever, they do this thing basically to get into her office, or not to get in her office, but to blackmail her, and that was the whole thing. Is she wants
her hard drive or something
her
back.
hard drive back because yes, the IT guy gave her a virus, basically put like some sort of malware on her computer, and they erased her hard drive. But then they're like, oh, we have it backed up here, and they went up and basically said like, oh, we have it backed up on this like external hard drive, and they smash it, and yeah, whatever. Who gives a fuck? It's like data. So like she did obviously, but it's like it's not. Yeah, I don't know. The stakes didn't feel very high.
It's the feet. We didn't see any of the feet pictures. So,
yeah,
I mean,
we wanted to
we
see
don't
her
really
sucking
know.
feet. We want to see some
Show
old ladies
feet.
suck feet. There was a really good scene though at this point where Derek finally kills like the bodyguard guy, the CEO that killed his friend earlier, and he like beats the shit out of him, holds him down, is about to spray mace in his face, but Derek opens his mouth, he sprays it in his mouth, and he spits the mace back in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. I was like, I don't think I've seen that before.
Yep.
And then stabs him in the brain.
Right.
Brains.
Yeah. So, so this is when, Derek does the old, trick with the taking the chair apart. I'm like, when did he have time to take the chair apart?
Because he's a Mary Sue.
I know, this just sucks. That part sucked too. But it doesn't matter. Whatever. It doesn't really detract that much from the movie because the whole thing is just kind of bonkers.
Yeah, it's not like this is like a smart, high level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't. We're not talking like a Christopher Nolan type film where he like, and then Matthew McConaughey disassembled a chair while you weren't looking to go back in time for his fucking whatever.
Yeah.
No, this is just like, this. The whole thing has like video game logic to it as well, which I think is what makes it work. So he gets up there. Derek rolls into the boardroom, and they offer him, basically you're made in the shade situation here. We're going to give you the big boy job, and you get $1 bajillion and all this types of stuff. And then there's these two like, I don't know, just hookers, I'm not sure, that are there, and she's just like, I'm gonna suck your dick or something. It's just so over the top.
They're listing off all the things that like he gets, and you're like, you're gonna get company car and cell phone and gas allowances, and I'm gonna blow you from behind.
It was just so over the top. Again, it's very cartoonish. And then the one tries to stab him in the eye and actually stabs the other one in the eye.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so he fights the CEO. It's the final boss thing. The final, I mean, so far is like so much of like a final where the boss has like move sets. Like he's got his weapon, which is his golf club.
Right.
But then he also like goes back to his bag to get other clubs, which is the time when you have to hit him. And then also he has like coke, which he's doing coke the whole time. We didn't mention. He even like blows coke in his face. So again, he has like a whole series of move sets.
Really hit him with the Mr. Fuji.
Yeah, he did. He hit him with the old Mr. Fuji, powder in the eyes, salt in the eyes. So then Derek pretty much has him dead to rights, hanging over a balcony. And then they all do the whole vote thing, which is what they did to Derek earlier. It's like a Roman gladiator type, thumbs down or thumbs sideways. Or no, they do the slit the throat.
Yeah.
They're going to slit the throat kind of thing. And of course, they do. And then Derek gives him a little Mac, full on power punch, launches him over the railing. He falls 1,000,000 floors down. It's asinine. Then they make Derek the CEO. The ending sucks so bad. It's terrible. They make Derek the CEO.
We got to wrap this up, guys. That's basically what this mood was.
Like that. It was like, all right, we got 3 days left, and so these Serbians are going to kill us. So we got to get the fuck out of here. He takes the job as the CEO just long enough to get Melanie's house back, and then he resigns. And I'm going to be like, couldn't you also like take a bunch of money, like do something? You have them by the balls. Like, don't just Anyway,
didn't they do like a whole bunch of other bad stuff?
Yeah,
and the only thing you do is save save your friend's house now.
Yeah. What about all the other people's houses? Like,
right. They're not fucking over hundreds of people, thousands of people. There isn't one low rent apartment complex you couldn't
do something for. No, he's just like, no, I'm gonna go paint now, and he basically he just fucks off. They go paint, and then he's like, be true to yourself. Don't work for a big corporation.
Stand
credits. Yeah.
Stand up for yourself.
Yeah. It's a fun flick. It's not really good, but it's fun.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's something that you can just easily turn on in the background. There's some funny moments, and it's fun to kind of watch. Like, they do a good job with like all the chaos in the background.
They do.
So it's
they make it seem like there's tons of people on screen, tons of action on screen.
Yeah.
It's shot pretty well, I think. The script isn't great. The performances honestly are good though.
Yeah, for not recognizing really anybody. Like, everybody does a pretty serviceable job, and then like Samara Weaving I find very charming, and then Steven Yeun
is that what you find her? Yes.
Incredibly charming.
It's all about charming.
Yes.
Yeah, she is though. She is, because she's the wild card. You know what I mean? So she's like the Charlie Murphy, another Always Sunny reference. Like he's in the background being fucking wild card Charlie. She's just doing weird shit, yelling shit, shooting fucking nails at people with a nail gun, that sort of stuff. It doesn't have. I'm still stuck. They're two remarkably attractive people. Right.
Yeah.
Samara Weaving.
Are we going back to
Steve?
He's going back to the sex scene.
And they, so mad about the whole thing. So mad.
It's probably good they didn't add it. I was like looking on the Wikipedia, and I mean, we already talked about like the budget being just like a thing, but it was like the budget was like 2.5 million, but they only box office 17K ish, which we already talked about it not being that well received. But I'm like, it's probably good.
The whole box office was only $17,000.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it getting a big release in theaters.
Wow,
so yeah,
it must have just been basically like maybe it was something's made for a streaming service, and then because where did it? I see. I don't even remember this movie coming out. I don't remember it until it was on the last drive-in, like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, I only watched it because I actually remember seeing the Belko Experiment first. And then I just remember watching this because it was like, oh yeah, like there's this other movie that's supposedly around the same thing. So yeah, like I always find that funny when like movies get released with basically the same plot.
And it's, I think around that time when it came out, because I feel like I remember like where I was living and like that time, a period of my life. And like, I definitely remember watching it at like home on a streaming service. But I find it interesting because I feel like at that point too, it was like The Walking Dead was really getting to its like peak and shit like that. And then all of a sudden, all of these things were coming out at the same time, capitalizing on it. Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's free on the Tubi. Absolutely worth a watch on the Tubi. Wouldn't pay money to see it. I would actually say if you got Shudder, go watch it on The Last Drive-In, because it was a really fun episode. I remember because it was the double feature for the night was this first, and then Tetsuya the Iron Man.
Oh, Jesus.
After that. So it was a dissonant. And I remember like putting that movie on second. Like I watched this movie, and I love a double feature that's got a beers movie and then a weed movie. So you start the double feature at like 9:00 with the beers movie. You slug some beers, you watch some crazy shenanigans, then you transition into movie number 2. You start smoking a little bit of, the devil's lettuce, and then you watch the wacky ass fucking crazy cyberpunk flick second.
Yeah, I mean, or you could just drop fucking LSD right into your eye and watch Tetsuo. Jesus Christ.
It is a wacky movie if you have not seen it. Funny. Well, excellent, guys. Any other final thoughts on Mayhem?
I don't know. Like I said, go on. It's free on Tubi, and so is the Belko Experiment. So you can double feature those. Go check out Exiled. That's also on Tubi. Go check out Life Force. It's also on Tubi.
Oh fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know what I've been wanting to watch lately? Because I watched it when it first came out, and I remember it was terrible, and now all of a sudden it's getting all this love again, and I want to rewatch it, and it's probably still terrible. Blair Witch 2.
Oh yeah, that's probably still terrible.
Yeah, I heard it was so... Now, I was a huge fan of the first one, but I was also like right in the perfect age when that came out.
Yeah. See, I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
When I first watched Blair Witch, I was like... It was a perfect environment. It was like... What year did it come out? Like 99? Yeah, so I'm 14 years old. I was a bunch of friends in the dark, Friday night, popcorn. Like, it was perfect. You know what I mean? So I had a very great, and I've watched it since then. It doesn't hold up that as great, obviously. It was very much of its time. But when it first came out, loved it. Didn't see it in the theaters. But we, like I said, we rented it. Remember going to the Blockbuster, renting it. A bunch of us watched it. When Blair Witch 2 came out, I was like, this is going to suck so bad. And it's completely departure. It really feels like it has nothing to do with the first movie at all.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking it really sucked. And then like in the last month, I've heard like 3 or 4 people talk about how much they love Blair Witch 2.
Weird.
And I'm like, really? All right. Well,
Let's hear what you're telling.
I'm still on the Corvid, which, I realized why I just started organically calling it Corvids. And
none of us questioned it.
Well, this is why. Down south, where my brother lives in Nashville, everyone calls it Covis. All right. And my grandparents call it Covis. Unironically, not like making a joke about it. They just call it Covis.
I love this.
And I've heard out in Philly, people call it Corvid instead of COVID.
Okay.
And so I started calling it Corvid. Corvus or Crovis.
God.
And it never isn't funny to me.
I just call it Roan Dog.
The Roan Dog.
I got the Roan Dog in me.
Crovis is also, I think, the name of a character on Stardew Valley. Anyway. All right. Guys, let's remind our listeners one more time, because I'm really excited about this Showdown episode next week. August Showdown. August kicks off spooky season. Plus, I love me a fucking vampire flick, especially a weird-ass vampire flick. So, if you are inclined to do so, go watch these movies so you can hear us talk about them next week. We are going to do, I'm going to do Near Dark, 1987 Near Dark. Steve, what are you doing again? You're doing
2008's Let the Right One In, not to be confused with Let Me In, which is the remake.
I mean, like, it was only a few years later. Wasn't it like 2011 or some shit? It was something like that. Maybe not that soon, but it was like,
it was really close. It was.
Yeah. Yes, watch the original. It is it's a great one. And Meg is doing
Martin 1977, and you can find it on YouTube's. That's where I found it.
I got it on DVD.
Ooh, I don't. That's one of the few Romero flicks I do not have a physical copy of.
I was just really, I'm excited to like talk about it, because I didn't actually, until we started talking about this episode, I didn't really know it existed. And then I watched it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with it.
It's been probably a decade since I've seen it, so I'm looking forward to watching that one again.
If you want to see some of the ugliest interiors of Pittsburgh homes from the 70s. Oh my God.
Oh, wait till I show it. I'll post a picture of it. I was at a really cool movie theater way up in upstate New York, right on Lake Ontario, actually in Oswego.
I grew up there.
New York. Yeah. There's a little theater. I'm going to forget the name of it. An old theater. But they were playing like new movies. We took the kids to see fucking new Despicable Me movie or whatever, the Minions movie in there. But such a cool theater. And I went in the bathrooms, and they were the wildest, ugliest bathrooms I've ever seen in my life. And I was also wearing like the ugliest shirt ever made. So I'll send you guys the picture. It looked like it looked like I was born in this bathroom. It was very strange. I'll send you guys a picture of it.
That's funny.
For your Oswego bathroom Twitter or whatever. All All right. Guys, we've done it. Anything else I'm forgetting?
Nope.
Go check us out on the social medias. I'll try to do it. I'm going to do it in one take here with Crovis Brain.
It's a real thing, man.
Yeah, ready? All right. Go check us out on the social medias. It's at Halloween is Forever. I already fucked it up.
I was like, you should not keep going.
As soon as I said
it,
my eyes just started closing. No, I'm not going to do it. Just search Halloween's Forever on any social medias. I'm going to fucking die, you guys. And Meg is responsible for murdering us.
Guys, I did say that I just like torturing and making people's life miserable. So I guess this is on brand for me.
All right. Well, this is the last time we're probably going to see each other because I'm feeling real bad all of a sudden. All right. We'll talk to you next week when we discuss them some bitchin' vampire flicks. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm the roan dog, Jesse James.
Bye.